Hello, my name is Tim Erickson, and I'm with Simplo by Triplo, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Webform module. The Webform module can be found at backdropcms.org. The Webform module is basically a module to allow site users or site editors to easily create and administer single or multi-page web forms with a library of available fields or components. The Webform module is currently the third most popular module in backdropcms.org. I include it on almost every backdrop site I build and use it to replace the contact form that comes with core. I prefer the Webform module for my contact forms because the results can be both emailed to me immediately and stored in the database for later reference. The default contact form in Backdrop simply sends the site owner an email, but does not store the data anywhere. Install the Webform module like any other module. Out of the box, it comes with everything you need for most web forms. However, note that there are a number of additional modules that add functionality to the Webform module. We won't be talking about them today, but here's a list of them at the time of this recording. These are just the modules available with Webform in the name. There are other modules, such as the Stripe module, that have Webform functionality built in. For example, the Stripe module includes the ability to turn a simple web form into a Stripe payment form. Okay, let's go ahead and do a quick demo now here. So what I've got is a basic Backdrop CMS site installed on my local laptop. I'm using Lando to host this. And all I've done, the only thing that's been done to this site is that we've added and enabled the Webform module. So the first thing you're going to notice is that what the Webform module has done is added a content type called Webform. Now, web forms can be added to any content type, but for simplicity and to get you going, the Webform module creates a special content type called the Webform. You can find settings for the Webform module under Configuration Content Authoring. And the first thing you're going to find is a list of available components. These are all the fields that you can add to your web forms by default. There are additional modules which will add fields to this. Specifically, I can think of there's a module that adds a telephone number field. And basically, if you're allowing your users to create their own web forms, you can enable and disable which fields you want to make accessible to them. You can set your default email addresses and subject line for each for emails that go out from the Webform module. There's also a progress bar settings, and this is for multi-page web forms. I recommend turning this off by default unless you plan on using a lot of multi-page web forms. I tend not to do that, and so I'd rather not get that progress bar. I'm actually going to turn it on, though, so that I can show you what it looks like in a minute, but then we'll turn that off. And then under Advanced option, there's a bunch of other details. I recommend taking a look through all of these, but I don't want to get into them right now. Most of them are not things you're going to need, so let's go ahead and save these configuration changes. Now, to create a web form, all we have to do is go to Add Content and add a web form. And let's name this Event Registration. Now you'll notice when we get to the web form page that it includes, or the web form tab includes form components. This is where you build your web form. Conditionals is where you can actually set up if-then statement, sort of like if the value of one field equals X, then show another field. Emails is who's going to get email notification. You can notify the person who's filled out the email with this, or you can notify yourself or add other people to the list. Whoever you can add as many emails as you want in terms of people getting notified each time a web form is filled out. And then you have the specific settings for each web form, and you can set like a custom confirmation message, a custom redirect. You can limit the number of times an individual can submit a web form. Also, like down here, what I talked about before, you can turn on and off the progress bar by per individual form if you need to. And those advanced settings are available on a form-by-form basis as well. So a whole bunch of settings for each one. Let's just go back to our form components, and we're building a registration form for an event. So the first thing we want is a name. Let's just do a single name, and that will be a text field. We're going to add that and probably just stick with all of the defaults. I think they're all pretty settings here. Quite a few settings for each field, so feel free to explore those and experiment with them. The next thing I want to do is add a dinner choice menu for our event. And I just want to demonstrate the select options field. So we do the dinner choice. What would you like to have for dinner? Okay, and for our choices, we're going to put chicken, fish, or vegetables. Vegetarian. And I don't think we need anything else here. Let's take a quick look at our web forms so far. And there we go. We have a name field and we have our dinner choice. Now this didn't really work out the way I wanted. This the description is showing up here as sort of help desk underneath. Really, I wanted that as part of the question. So let's go back and edit this. We can also see that we got a single page web form. So there's really no need for this progress board. So let's delete that. So we're going to go back to our web form. Let's go to the form settings. Scroll down here to progress bar and turn that off. We'll save that. And then we're going to go back to the form components. We're going to change the dinner choice. And we're actually going to use this little statement I put here as the label. And we don't need any help description. Go ahead and hit save. There we go. Now our web form looks a little bit more like what we want. The next thing I'd like to show you is a conditional field. So let's say that the user picked chicken. Let's give them a choice about what kind of chicken. What kind of chicken do you want? Okay, and I'm making this a select option so we can say fried, roasted, or baked. We could do things like randomize our options and others. We're not going to worry about any of that. Let's save this component. So now we have, again, if we look really quickly, we have these two things. But what we'd like to do, we don't want to ask what kind of chicken somebody would like if they ordered fish. So let's go back to the web form and add a conditional. And basically, we're going to add a conditional here that says, what would you like to have for dinner? And if the answer is chicken, what kind of chicken is shown? We could also hide something based on a conditional. But anyways, I'm going to save my conditional, go back to the form, and now my name is Tim Erickson. What would I like for dinner? I would like chicken. Oh, what kind of chicken would you like baked? There we go. We submit the form. For the purposes of this demo, I also went ahead and added an email field to this, just using the email field, nothing special there. Now what I'd like to do is add 2 more pages to this form. Okay, and now I'm going to add in our event, let's say we're going to have a poetry contest or poetry reading. So I'm going to add a page called poetry reading, put a page break in there, hit add. Don't think we need to do anything else. Hit save. That says, will you be participating? And I'm going to do a select options here with yes or no. Okay, and then I will be adding a file upload to submit your poem in advance. Okay, so I'm adding a file upload field so to submit your poem. Excuse me if my examples are a little stretched, but anyway, so we'll add a file upload field. We could specify a directory where we want them stored. We can say what kinds of files we want added. We for sure want to allow text, RTF, or PDFs, or docs, so docx. There we go. We'll put a bunch of them. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now, we don't want somebody to submit a poem if they're not actually participating. So let's add that. Will you be participating in the poetry reading? And if the answer is yes, submit your poem. Okay, and for the final field, I want to add another page. So let's call this membership. Okay, so we created a membership field with a page break. I'm trying to create a multi-page, a nice multi-page form. Do you want to? Okay, and I've just added one more. I've added this membership page, and now we've added a, do you want to join our cool organization? And we're going to do another select options. So I created another select option. Do you want to join our organization? And put that on the 3rd page. So we're going to do one. Now we have a 3-page form. So we could use that progress bar, might be helpful. So let's go back and turn that on, see how that actually looks with a multi-page form. Okay, now we have our multi-page form. You can see the different sections here. Let's go ahead and fill this out. Okay, I'm going to get to the next page. Yes, I want to participate. Oh, and I could upload my poem. but I'm not going to do that right now. Go ahead and hit the next page. Do I want to join the cool organization? Yes. We can see the little progress bar filling out. There we go. And now I submit and my form is complete. Okay, so we're on let's go back to the actual page. We can see the results. Now I've got the earlier result I have, the second one. Let's open this up. The second one, just hit view. We can see all my data there. We can also go back to the results page and we could create a table with some more detail. We could download this. Earlier I mentioned that web forms could be added to any content type, but we've just been using the web form content type created by the module. But we could go to either page or post. If we go to the content type and we go to configure for pages and we scroll down, there's the option here to enable web form functionality. If we hit save, basically all that means is that now anytime we create a page, the hello page, and I save it, I'm going to have the web form ability here. So I could go ahead and add some sample content on my page. Anyway, so I've added some sample content to my page, and now I could actually go ahead and add a web form to the bottom of that. I'm not actually going to do it, but that web form would just appear below all of the other content. I can imagine one good use case for this would be like events. If you were having an events page and then you wanted to add a custom registration page for each event, you could create one and put it right there on the node. The last thing I want to look at today is the email features. So if we go back to our content menu and let's go to the event registration page. On the web form here, we have the emails tab. We didn't look at this very closely before. And what I want to do is, what you can do here is select multiple people to send an email to. And one of them could be me. So Tim, there we go. So I can add an email to me. I can change custom headers. And then I can actually create the contents of that email that's going to go to me with any kind of custom message, and I can use tokens. And I got different tokens in which of the fields I want to include. You can browse all the available tokens here to create this email. Anyway, so let's go ahead and just send the default email to me. But I can also do this, which is send an email to the person filling out the form using the email that they entered into the email field. So basically, I'm saying send an email address to whatever email was included there. And then I have the same kinds of choices here that I would have had, and I can create another custom message for them. So this message would be different from the message that I receive. You can do lots of fun stuff with this, including give the user filling out the form the option to pick between different roles in your organization, and then have the email sent to the appropriate person depending on what their selection is. Anyways, I think that's all we have for today. If you like our videos, please note that we have plenty more on our YouTube channel. You can get there by using the shortcut simplo.site/YouTube. Also, please do like, comment, and subscribe to our videos on youtube.com. The feedback we get from users motivates us to keep making great content. Also, ping us on Twitter with suggestions for future videos at simplosite. Finally, please do visit us at simplo.site, where you can spin up a free Backdrop site and experiment with it for free for 30 days. After 30 days, you can arrange to host the site with us or export it to your own server. See you in the next video.